Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Before we start our class, Madhuf Muslim, we start with reciting Surah Al-Fatiha. Okay, right. We continue our discussion still under the topic of forecasting. Uh, can someone tell me where is our last slide discussion? I'm confusing with the class at the evening. So, mana kita last slide kita itu? Have we finished discuss about the exponential smooth thing? Someone?
Forecast, doktor.
Which
Comparison
one?
of forecast. Forecast.
Focus.
Uh-uh.
Which technique? We have discussed about the moving average, right? Weighted moving. Okay, associative forecasting. Thank you. So we already discussed about the measuring error in the forecast, and we will start a new subtopic under the forecasting, which is associative forecasting. Under the associative forecasting is under the associative forecasting, we will forecast the outcome based on the predictable variable. Based on the predictable variable, and using the least square technique. Using the least square technique. And the objective here is to find what is the value of y. What is the value of y? Uh, and the y is the dependent variable. Meanwhile, x is the independent variable. So, in order to find the y, we also need to identify what is the value of the slope of b. What is the value of slope of b, and what is the uh, intercept for the y-axis of a. Okay. For example, here what we have the information about the sale data, about the sales data. For example, we have a sale value of, let's say, 2 million, 3 million, 2.5 million, and so on. And also, we have information about the payroll for our staff. Payroll for our staff. So the total payroll here will be 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, and 7 million. So we try to predict that the payroll here as an independent variable affect the dependent variable of y. impact the dependent variable of y. To what extent the independent variable of x will impact to the dependent variable of y. So this associative forecasting example, we're using a linear regression analysis. Linear regression analysis. So in order to identify or forecast the value of y, we need to find what is the value of slope and the intercept of y axis of a. So for the first step is to find what is the value of average x or x bar here or x bar here. So x bar here, we total up the payroll value here and divide by number of data that we have. So the number of data that we have is 6, right? 6, right? 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, and 7. So we have 6 data here. So 18 divided by 6, we have 3. We have 3. And also, we need to find what is the y bar here. What is the y bar here? Missing bar signs at the y axis here. So please put in your slide the value of, try to, okay. We have y bar here, and the total of y is 15 and divide by number of 6, so we have 2.5 here. Next, we need to find what is the slope of b. Kita perlu, baik, untuk menyelesaikan masalah forecasting bagi associative forecasting, yang mana kita menggunakan pendekatan regression analysis, simple linear regression analysis, iaitu kita perlu meramalkan apakah nilai dependent variable berdasarkan nilai independent variable iaitu x di sini. Jadi kita akan lihat sejauh manakah x tersebut akan memberi kesan kepada nilai y di sini. Langkah yang pertama adalah mendapatkan nilai x bar, iaitu purata nilai bagi x. Jadi jumlah x di sini adalah 18, kita bahagikan dengan 6. Jadi kenapa kita bahagikan dengan 6? Kerana kita ada 6 data di sini, kan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dan 6. Kita ada 6 data di sini. Jadi kita bahagikan dengan 6. Jadi kita akan dapat purata x bar di sini adalah 3. Manakala untuk y bar di sini, kita total keseluruhan dapat 15, kita bahagikan dengan 6, jadi kita akan dapat 2.5. Seterusnya, kita perlu mencari apakah nilai kecerunan bagi nilai B tersebut, kan? Nilai kecerunan. Baik. For the B value, the formula is for the B value is total of x, y minus by n multiply with x, y bar and divide by total of x square minus by n multiply with x bar square. So we need to find first what is the value of x square here. So the x square value we have here, for the first data we have 1, for the second data we have 9, and for the third data we have 16, right? So 3 multiplied with 3 we have 9, 4 multiplied with 4 we have 16, 2 multiply with 2, we have 4, and 1 multiply with 1, we have 1, and 7 multiply with 7, we have 89. So this is the total of x squared, 80. And next, we need to find what is value of x multiplied with y. So the value of x multiplied with y, if for the first data is 2, the second data is 9, right? So 2 multiplied with 1, 3 multiplied with 3. So we have 9, 10, 4, 2, and 24.5, where 3.5 multiplied with 7, and we have 24.5. So the total for the value of x multiplied y, xy equal to 51.5. 51.5. So all of this data we input into the formula of B, slope for the linear regression here. So 51.5 minus by 6. 6 is the number of data, and is assigned for the number of data, and x bar multiply with y bar. So we have x bar here 3 multiply with 2.5 and divide by 80. 80 is the total value of x square here. So we have 80 minus by n, 6 equal to 6 multiply with x bar square here. So x bar square here, x bar 3 multiply with 3. So we have x bar square here, and the b value here will be 0.25. 0.25. And for the a value, the formula for the a value is y bar minus by b multiplied with x bar. So the y bar here 2.5 minus by b value of 0.25 multiplied with 3, x bar here we have 3. So the a value equal to 1.75. 1.75. So we already complete our value need to forecast using the regression linear analysis. So based on this value of a and b, we can develop the equation for regression analysis, where is y equal to 1.75 value of a plus with 0.25 value of b and x. X will be any value based on the Pero value. For example here, let's say the next year the value of the Pero will be 6 billion. 6 billion. Will be 6 billion. So we forecast that the sales will be 3,250,000. 3,250,000. So based on this equation, we can predict the value of sales based on the changes in the value of x. Based on the changes value of x. Okay, any question? Baik, di dalam linear regression ataupun kita tengok di bawah topik associative forecasting, kita melihat ada dua variable, iaitu dependent variable dan independent variable. Apa itu independent variable? dan apa itu independent variable. Dependent variable adalah pemboleh ubah yang dipengaruhi perubahannya oleh independent variable. Maksudnya di sini, apa saja yang berlaku perubahan pada independent variable, dia akan menyebabkan perubahan kepada value untuk dependent variable. Dan untuk independent variable, pemboleh ubah ini tidak dipengaruhi oleh mana-mana pemboleh ubah yang lain. Dia hanya mempunyai sifat untuk mengubah dependent lain, mengubah variable yang lain. Jadi itu adalah independent variable. Kalau boleh saya tunjukkan satu contoh yang lain, aplikasi associative forecasting, iaitu regression analysis, ataupun kita ambil pendekatan yang lebih advance sikit, kita sebut sebagai multiple regression analysis, yang mana kita menggunakan kita menggunakan beberapa pemboleh ubah. Kita menggunakan beberapa pemboleh ubah untuk meramalkan apakah nilai bagi pemboleh ubah bergantung, dependent variable. Kan? Sebagai contoh, katakanlah kita nak predict, kita nak meramalkan apakah kita nak meramalkan employment. Kita nak meramalkan level of employability. Okey, kita nak meramalkan tahap employability di kalangan pelajar, kan? Let's say, for example, we trying to predict what is the level of employability among fresh graduate at UEM. Kan, kita nak meramal ni, berapa cepat, berapakah tahap pelajar UEM yang graduate ni dapat pekerjaan, kan? Dapat pekerjaan. Jadi kita perlu kenal pasti apakah faktor-faktor dia, kan? Apakah faktor-faktor yang mempengaruhi menyebabkan pelajar tersebut cepat mendapat pekerjaan, kan? Jadi kita boleh senaraikan, kita kata independent variable dia, salah satunya apa dia? Salah satunya adalah kecemerlangan akademik, kan? Bila kita sebut kecemerlangan akademik adalah item-item yang akan kita ukur, yang kita sebut sebagai kecemerlangan akademik. Apa lagi selain daripada kecemerlangan akademik yang boleh memudahkan kamu untuk dapat pekerjaan? Soft skill sebagai contoh, kan? Soft skill, betul. Kawan kamu kata soft skill. Kita kata soft skill daripada segi apa, kan? Mungkin kita kata kemahiran menggunakan Excel, kemahiran menggunakan macam-macam perisian, kan? Lagi apa lagi? Apa lagi yang diperlukan? Character of the student, kan? Sama dia ada mempunyai sifat leadership ataupun tidak, kan? Jadi kita ada banyak variable, kita ada banyak pemboleh ubah. Jadi kita akan ambil kira semua pemboleh ubah ini dan kita akan lihat sejauh manakah pemboleh ubah ini dapat memberi kesan terhadap employability di kalangan pelajar, kan? Jadi forecasting ni banyak digunakan di dalam research lah, banyak digunakan di dalam research. Macam saya sendiri pun, saya menggunakan multiple regression analysis untuk menyiapkan tesis PhD saya, kan? Jadi kita akan tengok asosiatif apakah impact dia. Kajian berkaitan dengan, saya melakukan kajian berkaitan dengan aplikasi vendor managed inventory di sektor pembuatan. Yang mana saya ada berapa variable? 5, 4. Saya ada 9 variable. Ada 9 variable. Dan 9 saya melihat apakah impact 9 variable ini terhadap prestasi pelaksanaan vendor managed inventory tersebut. Kan? Jadi kita boleh lihatlah menggunakan pendekatan forecasting ini, iaitu regression analysis, kita akan lihat impact dia. Okay. So any question about the associative forecasting? So associative forecasting is very useful to predict the dependent variable based on the changes in the independent variable. So we can change any value for x here to know what will be the value of sales based on the changes of payroll. Okay, any question? If there is no question, I will proceed to the next topic under the information for independent inventory system. Okay, we finished discuss about the forecasting. So overall, we only in detail. Overall, we only discuss numbers of technique, forecasting technique, which moving average, simple moving average, weighted moving average, exponential smoothing, and also we have a simple linear regression. Simple linear regression. So the total of technique of forecasting technique that we have in the inventory management course here only 4. So I hope you can understand how do we manage the inventory, that to what extent the importance of forecasting, especially in crafting the business strategy, and more importantly for the inventory management is to plan the use of inventory in the future for the consumption at the organization. So the next topic will be on the inventory control. So we have here inventory control to achieve a satisfactory level of customer service while keeping inventory costs within reasonable bounds, and to maintain the level of customer service and to decrease or to minimize the cost of ordering and carrying inventory. Of course, these two objectives, although it looks like simple simple metric to be achieved by storekeeper or inventory material planner, but to balance between the level of customer service and the cost of ordering and carrying inventory is very challenging. So why? Because when we controlling the inventory, not only the inventory, the cost and the service level and the cost associated to the inventory management, but also to balance between the department in the organization. Goal of department in every organization. So it's very challenging to balancing the goal of, for example here, finance, production, marketing, and we can name the other department like supply chain, warehousing, purchasing. So each of these department or function in the organization have a different goals. So when to controlling the inventory, there will be always conflict. There will be always conflict between this function or department. For example, here for the finance, view the inventory control as to keep stock low to free up the investment capital. So kalau kita tengok di sini, apabila kita membuat kawalan inventory, ianya adalah sukar walaupun kita nampak macam simple je, kita nak balancekan antara service level dan kos-kos yang berkaitan dengan pengurusan inventory kan. Tapi sebenarnya untuk mengimbangi antara service level dan kos tu adalah sangat mencabar bagi saya kan, sangat mencabar kan. Dan kita boleh lihat di sini bukan itu sahaja cabarannya. Cabarannya juga adalah untuk mengimbangi antara matlamat yang ada bagi fungsi-fungsi di dalam sesebuah organisasi. Contoh matlamat di sini kita tengok finance, production dan marketing. Mereka ini mempunyai matlamat yang berbeza terhadap pengawalan inventory itu sendiri. Sebagai contoh kita kata finance. Finance ni, orang yang pegang finance ni selalunya apa dia? Dia melihat kepada kewangan lah kan. Selalunya orang yang kerja finance ni, dia seronok tengok duit dia banyak. Dia seronok tengok duit dia banyak. Jadi untuk memastikan duit dia tu sentiasa nampak banyak, dia tak nak membuat pelaburan terhadap pembelian inventory dalam kuantiti yang banyak. Kan? Jadi dengan itu dia akan dapati bahawa duit dia akan banyak. Kan? Kamu pergilah mana-mana pun. Kan? Persatuan ke, apa lagi, syarikat apa sekali pun. Kan? Bahkan kalau saya sebutkan jadi satu dosa kan. Tapi itulah hakikat dia kan. Siapa yang pegang bahagian bendahari ini, dia akan menjadi satu kebanggaan kepada dia apabila dia lihat duit dalam tanggungjawab dia tu banyak kan. Sebab tu orang jaga bahagian event apa tu pembendaraan ni, dia nampak macam kedekut sikit dengan duit, padahal bukan duit dia pun kan, duit orang lain kan. Dia tolong jaga ya, tapi bila nak letak keluar tu dia akan jadi satu halangan kan. So finance keep stock low to free up investment capital. So during my experience while working as a material planner, so every quarter we have a schedule. We have a schedule buying of inventory called prime buy. We call it as a prime buy. So this schedule buying of inventory need every purchasing of material or inventory need approval from a number of officer in the organization. So in my case, I need approval from my material manager. I need approval from a senior material manager, and also I need approval from the purchasing manager. Finance manager. I need approval from finance manager. So every time to purchase an inventory, there is no problem to get the sign from the material manager and senior manager. Of course, they are in the area of managing inventory. They understand the need of inventory to support the production process, to support the organization goal. So, and there will be always argument with the finance department. Finance department. So they keep arguing, why do you need to buy this make component? I just signed it. Buying approval in the last week. So, see, so the uh, the uh, the others function might not understand well about uh, uh, the requirement of inventory to support the production process or organization goal. So this will be a conflicting, one of the conflicting uh, might be affect the performance of managing inventory. For the purchasing, for example, here we have purchasing. They more there will be more support to order in large batch. To order in large batch in order to get high volume or discount. Kan? Kalau kita tengok, kita belajar berkaitan dengan quantity discount, kan? Kamu belajar masa production operation management, bila kita beli dalam quantity yang banyak, kita akan dapat volume discount ataupun kita dapat pengurangan harga atas pembelian quantity yang banyak, kan? So, for production, they also need a high inventory level. So, with the high inventory level, they will have a long production run, can avoid the time-consuming setup and to also avoid the production stock edges. Okay, untuk production dia suka untuk mempunyai inventory dalam kuantiti yang banyak, kan? Dalam kuantiti yang banyak untuk mengelak daripada berlakunya kehabisan inventory work in process lah, untuk mengelak kehabisan inventory work in process dan juga untuk mengelak kehabisan inventory sewaktu pelaksanaan setup pada mesin tersebut. Jadi bila kita setup pada mesin, we need to, when we doing the setup at the machine, we need to stop the machine. So, but the others process still running, so we need inventory to support the other process that not involved with the setup of machine. So for the marketing, they also would like to have high finished good stock, high level of stock for the finished goods to avoid stock out and to quickly fulfill the customer order. Fulfill the customer order. So with this conflicting between function in organization, we need to have an inventory model to find the best balance between this goal, this differences goal in each of the function in organization. So another important element under the inventory control is record accuracy. Record accuracy, ketepatan maklumat, kan? Ketepatan record adalah penting juga untuk pengawalan inventory. Accurate record are a critical ingredient in production inventory system, which allow organization to focus on what is needed. Based on the record accuracy, it can help organization to make a precise decision, especially about ordering quantity, scheduling, and shipping. incoming and outgoing record keeping must be accurate. So any inventory that in and out in our premise must be record, and storeroom also should be secure to avoid loss of inventory. So to ensure that our record of inventory is accurate, there is approach called as a cycle counting, where the item are counted and record updated on periodic basis. Baik, apabila kita kata kita nak pastikan record kita itu adalah sentiasa tepat, kan, sentiasa kita sentiasa update, kan, sentiasa kita update. Jadi ada pendekatan yang boleh kita gunakan, iaitu cycle counting, yang mana kita membuat pengiraan dan record, kita kemas kini maklumat berkaitan dengan inventory secara berkala, kan. So this cycle counting is often used with ABC analysis to determine the cycle, or to determine the period of counting activities. This cycle counting has several advantages. First is eliminate shutdown and interruption, eliminates annual inventory adjustment, have a trained personnel audit inventory to ensure the record is accurate, and allow cause of error to be identified and corrected, and also to maintain the accurate inventory record, So of course, record of accuracy of the record is very important. So my experience confronting with the error in the record of inventory. So even I already record in and out of the inventory, but sometimes there is also error when the redundant record of inventory has been done for certain component. So at the end, we will find that we have sufficient inventory to support the production process based on the scheduling provide the scheduler. But when the officer from production department ask material planner to withdraw certain amount of inventory from the stock room, and of course we will approve based on the record that we have. But when the officer go to the stock room and want to withdraw the inventory, and they find that there is insufficient of inventory. There is insufficient of inventory based on the request from the their department. So this happened to me. This is happened to me. Very, very important to have a accuracy record. If we ruin all of the production process for the whole week, kan, dia akan jadi masalah macam tu. Baik, itu pengalaman saya lah bila saya terrecord double record. Sebab kerja banyak, jadi bila kita record tu, kita kalau dan kita duduk balik kat meja kita tu, kita tu ingat, oh yang ni dah belum buat lagi, sebenarnya kita dah record dah, kita record sekali lagi. Jadi dalam level of inventory masa tu, saya tengok inventory saya masih banyak lagi, kan. Jadi saya tidak membuat sebarang pembelian lah, kan. Sebab inventory cukup. Jadi apabila pegawai dari production department datang request untuk withdraw inventory, saya bagi je lah, kan. Inventory banyak, kan. Saya bagi je lah, dia nak banyak mana pun, saya bagi. Bila dia nak sampai pada stock room, dia nak withdraw, minta kebenaran daripada storekeeper, cek tengok inventory tak cukup sebagaimana jumlah yang dia kehendaki, kan. Selalunya officer, masa saya kerja dulu, selalunya production officer ni, dia akan datang untuk request approval lah daripada material department untuk keluarkan inventory pada hari Jumaat. Sebab apa? Sebab material planner ni hari Sabtu dan Ahad dia cuti. Kami bekerja cuma 5 days a week, kan. Jadi working time tu adalah office hours, kan. 8 sampai 5, kan, kita bekerja, kan. Jadi satu Ahad production still running. So dah start untuk schedule untuk 1 minggu. Jadi dia akan minta kebenaran untuk keluarkan inventory untuk tempoh seminggu tersebut pada hari Jumaat. Satu lagi perangai officer ni, production officer yang saya tak suka, kan. Selalu mereka datang pada kita nak balik tu, hari Jumaat tu nak balik tu, masa tu dia akan datang kalut-kalut, kan. Dia datang kalut-kalut, kemudian dia kata okey, ni ada inventory saya nak keluarkan, saya nak minta sebanyak ni inventory untuk kita run production minggu ni, kan. Jadi kita ni nak balik dah, kan. Kita nak balik dah, kerja nak jam tu, nak naik jambatan Pulau Pinang lagi, kan. Masa tu saya kerja kat Pulau Pinang, kan. Saya duduk di pulau, bekerja di seberang, kan, terbalik, kan. Selalu macam tu lah, kan. Jadi kita ni kita tak akan semak secara detail sangat lah. Kita akan tengok pada rekod saja, kan. Kita tak check pun kat store betul ke tak betul, kita tally ke tak tally dengan rekod yang kita ada. Jadi kita akan tengok, dalam sistem ada okey banyak ni, kita akan sign je lah. Dan kadang-kadang kalau kita terlepas pandang, production officer ni mereka akan minta lebih daripada kuantiti yang sepatutnya, kan. Dia dah keluar print out lah, keluar print out, okey, schedule berapa pieces komponen diperlukan untuk minggu ni. Katakanlah production dia adalah 100 unit, jadi sepatutnya dia hanya keluarkan 100 unit, tapi dia minta extra 105, kan. Kenapa kamu rasa dia akan minta extra? Dia tak minta exactly 105. Sebab sekiranya berlaku defect semasa proses pengeluaran, mereka akan ada backup item. Kan? Jadi bila mereka ada backup item, mereka akan dapat capai production rate target lah, sasaran kadar pengeluaran tersebut. Jadi dia tidak akan menjadi isu lah kepada production department. Sebab apa? Mereka dapat capai production rate yang telah ditetapkan. Jadi kalau inventory itu ada secukupnya saja, mereka terpaksa bersungguh-sungguh struggle supaya tidak berlaku defect semasa proses pengeluaran, kan. Jadi bila sentiasa minta kuantiti yang lebih, dia akan impact pula kepada pengurusan inventory, sebab kuantiti yang kita order adalah berdasarkan forecast daripada scheduler. Scheduler pula dia akan buat production schedule based on forecast. Jadi kebarangkalian akan ada kehabisan inventory pada masa depan tu tinggi lah, kan. Itu yang kita kata kadang-kadang menjadi konflik tu, kan. Sebab saya kata tadi dalam function department, kan, untuk production department dia nak inventory yang banyak, kan, sebab dia nak pastikan production proses dia tu sentiasa boleh berjalan untuk capai target pengeluaran, kan. Baik, kat mana kita tadi? Okay. Example of cycle counting. For example, here we have 5,000 item. So from the 5,000 item, we have 500 item classifying under A class, class A, and 1,750 unit is a B item, and the rest of the item 2,750 is C item. So the policy is to count A item every month. Let's say the working days per month is 20 days, and so every month we need to count the A item, and for the B item we count it quarterly, 3 months, and so, and for the C item is 6 months. So what we have here, we identify what is the number of item will be counted per day. What is the number of item will be counted per day. For example, for class A item, we have 500 unit. So 500 unit will be divided by 20. So every day we will count 25 unit of item A, every day. And for class B item, we have 1,750. So we will count each quarter. So each quarter have 60 days. So 1,750 divided by 60 days equal to 29 unit per day. And the class C item, we have 23 items need to be counted every day. So the total of item to be count, which include class A, B, and C, 77 items per day. So this is the how do we apply the approach of cycle counting? To ensure that our inventory record is accurate. So I skip this slide. Control of service inventories. Relationship between inventory system and organization function. What is the relationship between inventory system and organization function? Almost every part of an organization has some contact with stock or inventory, and those functions can be provider or receiver of input from inventory control system. And we have four main areas. Generally, we have four main areas, include accounting, logistics, warehousing, and purchasing. For the accounting has obvious link with the inventory. They provide the cost data. So the connection through the payment of customer account and supplier invoice. So this cost data can be found in the document of payment of customer account and the supplier invoice. And also under the accounting, the information that we have is about the performance measurement. Specifically on the return on asset. We know what is the return on asset, right? So based on the return on asset, where inventory affect directly to the return on asset, because the profit is depend on the cost of goods sold and delivered from the inventory, and some of the assets of the company are fixed stocks, and inventory is used in the evaluation of asset. Baik, kita lihat bagaimana kita katakan inventory ni memberi kesan kepada return on asset, kan. Salah satunya kita tengok di situ, apabila kita tengok penyata tahunan kewangan syarikat, kan, dia akan nyatakan di situ kaitan dengan cost of goods sold, kan, maklumat berkaitan dengan cost of goods sold. Sebab profit akan bergantung kepada cost of goods sold. Dan di dalam perspektif kewangan juga kita tengok di situ, bahagian aset kan, bahagian aset adalah diambil kira, stok diambil kira sebagai aset yang disebut sebagai current asset kan. Bila sebut current asset dalam penyataan kewangan tu, current asset tu merujuk kepada inventory lah sebagainya kan, jumlah inventory yang kita ada kan, nilai inventory yang kita ada. Baik. So as a current asset which is transformed into cash or debtor. So this is the figure, the link between the link of cycle generating cash. So we need a cash to buy the inventory, and after we have inventory, we sold to the customer. Customer either pay using the cash or as a debtor to the organization. But at the end, the debtor also will pay as a cash to the company. So this is the cycle generating cash based on sales of inventory. So there is value. There is a problem in determining the value of inventory. And we have four main options in valuing the inventory. First option is specific identification, where we identify each unit of stock with its actual price paid for it. And also we have an average cost that use the average unit cost over a typical period of average cost. And also we have FIFO, the value of the stock is determined by the amount paid for the unit actually remaining in the stock. So what is first in the stock will be used first. So the left item, the value for the left item in the stock room, we the value for the item will be based on the remaining inventory that left in the stock room. So for the LIFO, the last unit added to stock will be used first. So the first item of the inventory enter the stock room will be used as a value in the inventory management. Logistic is concerned with the physical movement of storage. Wait, I have a Okay, sorry for the interruption. So logistic is concerned with the physical movement and storage of goods on their journey from supplier through all operation in organization to final customer. So it's about movement of goods from one location to other location. And under the logistic, inventory control is commonly viewed as a function of logistic. Viewed as one of the function of logistic. Under the logistic, there are numbers of mode of transport, and this mode of transport will affect directly to the order quantity and the reorder cost. For example, if we have used we will have a shipment using the airways, or we have a shipment using the kita kata apa uh, through using the kita kata route kan. And also we have an option transport mode of transport using the sea, and of course this mode of transport will affect the order quantity and the reorder cost. Pipeline stock, the amount of stock which is transit from supplier to customer, and the order quantity also, the cost of transport per unit delivered will be usually decline with increasing order quantity. So the more inventory that can be carrying during the movement of the material or component, so the cost of transport will be increased gradually based on the quantity, based on the quantity order. And the company also have a decide to the location of the warehouse and how many warehouse are needed. So under the logistic also concerned with the location, with the location decision to set up the premise for the warehouse. Meanwhile, for the warehousing is the operational function which physically look after the stock, and among the activities under the warehousing function is receiving material, identifying the material delivered, unloading material, check on quality about the quality, activity on the quality inspection, labeling material, sorting, and holding the inventory until it's needed by the customer, and moving material from a bulk storage to smaller pickup store. And there are numbers of activity under the warehousing. So right now we have uh, the growth of the third party logistic and warehousing, right, in Malaysia. So we can find a numbers of third party logistic and warehousing services that provide by uh, companies. Normally these companies we set up at the boundaries of country, at the industrial zone. So we can find this warehousing where they provide the service to the manufacturer to handle the inventory of manufacturer. Purchasing to ensure the item arrive in stock we requested, and closely connected to logistics as a part of wider procurement function. Example here, the function of purchasing is to determine the quantity, quality item needed, identify the possible supplier, maintain information about supplier, and negotiate contract with supplier price and condition, and also maintain the relationship between the supplier and purchasing department also need to be alert with the changes of specification specification of item that produced by production department. And expedite delivery from the supplier when necessary, and this is the purchasing cycle. So bacalah yang ni kan, purchasing cycle. We have 8 activities under the purchasing cycle. And what we have, so this is the 8 activity of purchasing cycle where user department recognize the need material and requirement, examine the request, and select the shortlist of supplier. So I left this slide to you to self studies on this topic. And this is the approach of choosing the best supplier. This approach that we use in generally when choosing the best supplier. So the first step is to find the alternative supplier and build the list of qualified supplier who can deliver the material that we needed, and then compare the organization compare this list and start to eliminate, compare this supplier and start eliminate the list with the reason based on the organization policy. And the eliminating process will continue until the organization only have a short list of supplier. Normally we have 4 or 5 that we think that the supplier is reliable to provide the material or component eventually that we needed. And based on this short list of supplier, we need to prepare inquiry to request the quotation from this supplier. And after we have the quotation of the supplier, we need to do the preliminary evaluation. We need to do the preliminary evaluation, eliminate the supplier that do not meet our requirement, especially requirement about the lead time, for example, requirement about the specification of the item. Okay, so we eliminate this supplier that have a major problem, for example, about the quality of material delivered from supplier, right? So after that, we do the technical evaluation to see if the material meet all the specification in detail. All the specification in detail. And also we need to do a commercial evaluation to compare cost and other conditions between the shortlist supplier. After that, the choose supplier, we do the pre-award meeting to discuss bids with the remaining supplier, and to ensure that we make the good decision, to ensure that the final decision is right, we need to have enough information, all the information about the supplier performance, all information about the product specification, all information about the cost associated with the buying the inventories, and after we satisfied with the supplier, and last we award the order to the preferred supplier. So this is the general process of selecting best supplier, starting from the identify all the supplier that we believe that can deliver inventory to us, and start to eliminate those supplier that have a major problem or issue, whether regarding with their performance in the quality, cost, and etc. So after we have shortlist, we do the in detail evaluation on our supplier. So this process, of course, requires a lot amount of information and thorough analysis on the supplier performance and material specification provided by supplier. So this slide end our today topic of inventory system for independent demand. So before we close our online class today, do you have any question regarding to the topic that we have discussed? So if no, I will end our class today, and we will start our new topic on this coming. Ini about this name on this coming Thursday. This coming Thursday on chapter 3, inventory model, right? So thank you all of you, and those that not scan the attendance yet, please provide your name in the group WhatsApp so I can enter manually your attendance. So that's all. Thank you. For those Muslim, we end our class today with Surah Al-Asr. Baik, sama-sama.
Thank you, Doktor.